Welcome to Plantique 101. My name's Susie, and today I want to share with you my lesson that I learned about LECA. I recently went to visit my friend's house up in Rochester, New York, where she not only shared some information about growing plants in LECA, she also showed me all different kinds of plants. It gave me a lot of cuttings, showed me how to pack them up to travel, and then I want to show you how these plants look 6 weeks later. So let's get started with my lesson in LECA.
This is a Cebu blue. That's what this is. And it's a pothos. And it just has a really, when the light hits it right, it's a really nice silvery blue. You can see it has a really pretty long, elongated leaf. Very easy to grow. So I've had this down here for probably, I don't know, maybe a month. It's been in the LECA. These leaves have gotten really big from when I first bought it. These were just a couple of random cuttings. So I think what we'll do is we'll dump this. I want to dump it out on a plate. I want to see if it has rooted or how well it is rooted. Look at that. See, that's a brand new root. You know how the new roots kind of have like a fuzzy look, and they're stuck to this. So I think we're going to have to dump it out onto a plate. So I'm going to get a plate. All right. You see how the leaves are kind of bluish?
Yep.
And look at the patterning on them. Aren't they really pretty?
They're gorgeous.
Yeah. Aren't they beautiful? So let's see how we did here. I mean, obviously we've got a lot of root action, so I think I'm just gonna, I don't want to rip anything off. I'll just get them all out. So in a month's time, that's what you get. And they've just been sitting in the a combination of mineral water and or fish tank water. The pots, you just put them right up to about here, you know.
And the roots will find their way to the water.
They will find their way to the water. Yep. But look at the root systems on them. And they even grow through the clay.
Lightweight expanded clay aggregate, LECA.
Right. Fast.
Now correct me if I'm wrong. The whole idea is to use this as your substrate and only put 1/3 water, and the roots will find its way through the clay, sometimes literally through the clay to the water.
You know, that I had recommended. You fill it to about, fill it up a bit. I've got more out in the porch I can bring in for you. So we need a few more. Let me fill a bowl.
And then you shake it to settle it down.
Right. So I would just put a few more in and then start to place these.
That and I put more.
Yep. Just kind of hold them up in the middle with one hand and then start covering. And it does, you know, and then you can poke things around and shake them and rearrange as you need to. The beauty about this is net pots are very affordable. You know what I mean? You can buy packs and packs of them at Amazon, the garden store. So you can bring it up just a tiny bit more, cover that in there. Yeah, there you go. And the beauty about these is no pests. You know what I mean? You don't get
That's important to me because I had that ant infestation.
Right, and they're not going to want to hang in there.
You're letting it sit in water up to here.
Right. So then you'll take fish water, put it in your reservoir, just get a cup here and you can scoop some out of any fish tank you want.
I saved a cup.
And yep, and you just water it like you would any other plant. You know, you want to carefully dribble it down over the roots, down through the middle. And then like if this was going to be your reservoir, you know, you would keep the water level to about there.
Okay. And this water is nutrient enriched fish water.
Right. Just go ahead and water it real well. Just soak it right down in there. And it doesn't matter if you overdo it right now because I can pour the extra out. You know what I'm saying? Just get it down, give them a good drink. And then that way when we put them in a Ziploc for the road trip, then they won't dry out.
And then if I put this in something like that, you'll never even see the netted pot, and nobody else would know. But
and the name of the pot that you use as a reservoir that doesn't have a hole in the bottom is called a cache pot.
Cache pot.
But you can let that sit for a bit, let things soak up a little bit,
Beautiful.
and then we'll get her all, when the time comes to get her all packed up, that's what we'll do. We're going to use this now. What you're going to do is you're going to wrap, we have 3 here, wrap these in sphagnum, and then we're going to get a little piece of saran, you know, in the damp, and saran, and do them separately. And then that way we can tell the difference. This is going to be your siltepecana.
So this is the Transcendia?
That's the purple wandering Jew. That's really pretty.
And this is?
That is the Syndapsis pictus. It's got semi-velvety leaves. They're really, really pretty too. And then that is the siltepecana. That's Monstera siltepecana El Salvador. And that's one of, I think, 4 or 5 pretty well-known trailing vining monsteras.
And this is how people ship them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then, well, of course, they wrap them up in, the rest of it up in like a, bubble wrap or fluff,
for sure.
Quilt fabric, whatever. Boy, that's a nice baby.
Beautiful, yeah.
That's a really nice baby.
And this will keep
That's
it
just
alive.
a regular variegated spider plant, yeah. Okay, I'll split this with you. We'll just have to take,
Okay, what's the name of this?
This is philodendron pincushion red. It's a dwarf philodendron. So I'll keep these ends. You take these nice ends right here.
Beautiful.
Okay, next.
This is the
Philodendron Rio. Silver stripe, or some people call it cream splash. It's a real pretty one. And that'll be a really good LECA candidate for you too when you get home.
because the root systems aren't just hairy.
Right.
Okay.
Or start it in water a little bit.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying you can't start it in LECA, but if there's no roots to suck the water up to help along with the capillary reaction that's going on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sometimes start those just, you notice, I start them in water first or a little bit of damp sphagnum in a glass.
Okay.
This is a Pothos N Joy, literally N space Joy.
Just the letter N?
Yep. Pothos N Joy. And it's got little
Beautiful.
white, I think some people might call it glacier. And you can see it's got a bunch of little aerial nodes right here. Mm-hmm. So you may actually find roots coming out of one of those.
Ooh.
A garden store where I got my LECA. But that New Zealand moss is the really good, everybody loves that New Zealand stuff. It's a little more expensive. This is the same, it's New Zealand. They say the best, I guess, sphagnum comes from New Zealand. Because it's long strand, what they call long strand. Mm-hmm. It's golden. So that's Pothos N Joy. This is a new variant, one of the new two new, this is a Jasenia, and it's considered an uncommon one right now because it's a fairly new one that was developed by Gabriel Plants. They have their trademark on it. Pothos Jasenia. And I've been doing a little reading. It's another one of these variegated, and I don't think the variegation on these, kind of like a global green, I think it's more of a subtle one, and this one is more of a creamy yellow in here, but again, it's a new plant, relatively new. That's for you. That's a Jasenia.
Wow.
Pothos. Again, that's a fairly new cultivar.
Oh, that's one we talked about, yeah.
Yep.
What is this?
It's a baby Monstera delicioso. It's just a little baby one I picked up. But see what I mean? I think it's getting too much. I think it's getting too much light in that area. I think it needs to be backed off.
Let's travel 6 weeks into the future and see if I can remember any of what Elizabeth told me. Wasn't that interesting? I love learning about LECA. But let's see how many of these plants I can still remember 6 weeks later, and if any of them died, or if any of them didn't do so well. How's that? None of them died. We'll see how well they did or didn't do. So first we're going to start with the Cebu Blue. Epinephrine, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to call it Cebu Blue. And I don't know if this will work. If I go like this. There you go. That'll work. So this did very well. Kind of like at an advantage here because she gave me very well-rooted cuttings. But I love this plant. I love the color of it, the way it shimmers. Another one that did very well is this green variegated spider plant. So this one is also in LECA. It did very well. I don't see any new growth. Well, I see one of these small leaves is that's a new leaf. Then the Marble Queen Pothos has a new growth here. I'm going to go through 3 of the pothos she gave me. See these? And this is the Marble Queen. It's got new growth. This one is in sphagnum. This is the Brazil. This didn't do so good. It does have new growth starting, but the sphagnum was very dry, and these leaves look very sad. Not a sexy plant, but still alive. And then this Rio, the Pothos Rio, is doing amazing. So this one is in LECA, and look at the stripes in it. Absolutely beautiful. These leaves are very, very thick, very strong, very healthy, and very different from the Brazil. I'm sorry. Now this is the Pothos Enjoy, which I absolutely do enjoy it. As you can see, these leaves are doing very good, nice and strong and healthy. The variegation is stunning. And I thought there was new growth, but it's the old stem, not new growth. And this is in sphagnum. This is the Pothos, the new cultivar called, see that? That's it got a little more mottled, subdued, more variegation. Love it. Then, switching gears out of Pothos to philodendron. This is the Pincushion Dwarf Red. The stems are red. They look very, very good. As you can see, the bigger one, this one is in LECA. The smaller one is in sphagnum. Small and compact, and I don't know. Oh, this one's gorgeous. It's got 3 new growths on it, 3 new leaves. This also has 2 new leaves, so I can't tell if one's better than the other. So far these philodendrons love both of them. And then the other philodendron that I have is the Mikan. This one is in sphagnum. This one is in LECA. And I don't know if you can tell. Very nice. This was small with new growth. This is just 2 leaves. I don't see any new growth, but the leaves are looking good. This one didn't do so good. It's a little better today, but when I pulled this one out, apparently the water had run out of the cash pot and the leaves were paper thin. So I soaked this in my fish tank, and which has delicious fish water in it. Delicious to the plant anyway, very full of nutrients. And it's come back, the leaves are a lot sturdier, it's popped up. I think it looks much better. And I also think it's one of the advantages of being a fish keeper and having plants. My fish emulsion is free. And this is a Schinaptus pictus. This has no new growth, but the leaves are sturdy. The roots are coming out the bottom, but no new growth. I find that very, very odd. And there's only 2 more plants. This one was the Monstera Delicioso. And look at that. There is that new plant right in the middle. Can you see that? Very exciting, because when I got this, it was very floppy. Didn't know if it was going to make it. It has perked up tremendously. I have this in my greenhouse, my indoor, greenhouse thingamajobber. And this new leaf looks great. So, and this is in LECA. And the last one, the Siltepecana, it is a Monstera Siltepecana El Salvador. I have it in my terrarium. So let's go take a walk over to my terrarium and we'll look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Let's see if I can focus in a little better on that one plant. Absolutely beautiful, and look at that new growth it has. So I think I did pretty good. I did pretty good at naming the names. I missed the Cebu Blue. I can't remember or can't pronounce epinephrine. So I'm just going to call it Cebu Blue. But I will learn how to say the names because I think it's important. Because what I found so far as just going out into the world looking for plants, the common name could be anything. So I'm going to try to stick with the genus and the species and get as specific as possible. So I'm sure I'm getting the plant that I want. Because some of these cuttings I'm getting are very small and I'm growing them out. So I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. I hope you come back and check out some more videos, and I'll see you next time.